Adventures by Morse. Carlton E. Morse presents A Coffin for the Lady, featuring Captain Friday.
If you like high adventure, come with me. If you like the stealth of intrigue, come with me. If you like blood and thunder... come with me.
"10 o'clock, in the dead black of a northern night on the Port Lancer waterfront, far up the Canadian coastline. On the steamship, whose stern lights can still be seen growing dimmer by the second, there is a casket. In the casket is Judith Wright, alive, conscious, and for some strange reason cooperating with her kidnappers, who are whisking her away under the very noses of her would-be rescuers. On the rickety makeshift wharf of Port Lancer are Captain Bart Friday, his fellow operative, Skip Turner, and Major Lawrence. Yes, the same Major Lawrence of Army Intelligence who got Captain Friday into this and was supposed to have been killed back on Marmaduke Island, where Friday and Skip first picked up the girl. How is it the Major's alive? But never mind that now. Captain Friday wants action, and he wants it in a hurry.
Major Lawrence, if you've got any influence, use it now.
What do you want?
Can you get a speed launch, something that can run circles around that steamship that's getting away from us?
It's important?
Important? Man, don't you realize that Judith Wright is on that ship?
You must be wrong. I was standing over there by the gangplank checking every person.
Do we have to argue the girl went aboard in a coffin?
Coffin? Well, come along, both of you.
Hey, Captain, you realize we're leaving that bird English where he lay after you socked him?
Where were your eyes, Skip?
What you mean?
Didn't you see those two men sniffing around the body?
Well, yeah, but I thought they was a couple of natives.
Oh, Major Lawrence's men. They'll look after English.
Come on down these steps. Look lively in the dark. They're rickety.
Oh, what do we got down here?
Government patrol launch. Watch your step.
Hey, this is a little beauty.
Ahoy, Commander.
Aye, aye, Major Lawrence.
We're coming aboard the launch. I want to stop that steamer before she gets out into open water.
Come aboard, sir. We can round her up before she gets out of the harbor with this little job, sir.
All right, aboard with you.
Yep. Come on, Skip.
Yeah, coming up. Oh, nice solid deck, too. I'll give you a hand, Major.
Oh, don't need it. Oh, thanks just the same. All right, Commander, let's go.
Belay there. Drop the stern line. Line release, sir.
Captain Friday, we've got 2 or 3 minutes before we get near enough the steamer to signal. I want to know what this is all about.
I think I can put the whole thing together if you'll tell us how you got away from Marmaduke Island alive.
Well, as you remember, we landed on the island, and I left you and Skip Turner here hidden near the shoreline.
Yeah, for 3 hours.
Yes, well, things went wrong. I was supposed to go inland to a trapper's cabin and pick up the girl.
Judith Wright?
Yes. Instead, I was taken prisoner. I had an Army GI watching the cabin to be sure the girl was kept there until I could arrive.
Was she a prisoner in the cabin?
Yes, being held by a couple of pretty rough characters. We'd located the cabin, and my soldier was watching the place.
Yeah, but if you wanted the girl, why didn't you take Captain Friday and me in with you? We could have stormed the place.
I couldn't do that. That'd have given my whole show away. I'm up here to break up a smuggling and kidnap ring.
So that's what we're up against, huh?
Well, isn't it pretty obvious? They got away with Judith Wright, didn't they?
But if you were going to kidnap her by yourself...
Well, you see, I'm known in these parts. You and Skip Turner aren't. I knew that the next depot in the smuggling chain was here in Port Lancer. I wanted to get the girl in your hands and have you deliver her here. I thought you, as strangers, might spot the hideout here quicker than I could. The gang on this end might even come out in the open, thinking you were the men who were supposed to deliver Miss Wright here.
Oh, but the plan didn't come off, huh?
No. I was made a prisoner. The soldier on guard saw it happen. He dashed in and grabbed up the girl and got out of the cabin.
He thought you was dead.
Well, they yelled to him that they'd kill me unless he brought the girl back. But I ordered him to keep running.
Well, he arrived where we were with a knife blade between his shoulder blades.
Yeah, one of the kidnappers was a French-Canadian knife thrower. When he ran out of the cabin with a knife in his hand, I was afraid of what was going to happen.
Yeah. But the boy made it, and we got the girl to the mainland where we left the horses. We rode into Port Lancer, stopped at the livery stable. By the way, that Scotch livery stableman is one of the gang.
Good. We'll pick him up. How do you know?
He slugged me. I didn't hit hard enough. When he lured Skip here into the stable, I'd come around and I clipped him instead.
That wasn't very clever of him.
Oh, but it did distract our attention long enough to give the girl a break. She made the most of it.
You mean she ran away when you were in the stable?
Yeah. Luckily, we came to in time to see her running in the direction of the forest. We followed her to her cabin.
Not the cabin of that East Indian, Ovid.
That's the cabin.
Hey, we're drawing up on a steamer. Look how much brighter our lights are.
Yeah, only a minute or two longer now. Go on, Captain.
Now, we looked in the window and saw Ovid putting the girl into a casket.
Ah, oh, that's how they've been shipping human beings into the United States.
United States?
Certainly. Any unwelcome character who wanted to slip into the United States could do it by paying $1,000 to this underground smuggling ring.
But Major Lawrence, Judith Wright ain't headed for the United States.
Well, she thinks she is. She paid $1,000 to be taken in.
I wondered if it wasn't something like that.
You mean they'd play a dirty trick like that? Take $1,000 from a girl to slip her into the U.S. and then...
And then, when she put herself in their hands, ship her off to the Bay of Bengal slave market. Why not? That way they collect double.
Well, if that ain't a low-down dirty trick.
Yeah, good. The commander's signaling for the steamer to pull up.
Well, the steamship seems to want to argue. Doesn't want to be stopped in midstream.
Hey, we got a machine gun aboard. Look, Cap, the commander's pulling the cover off of it.
Yeah, he'll use it, too, unless the master of that craft heaves to and in a hurry. He'll give him one more chance.
And that's the last chance.
Yeah. Well, the captain of the steamer's given in. That means he's going to wait for us. Good work, Commander.
I'll have a word with the master of that craft for trying to brush us off. He can't do that.
Go ahead, Commander. Take him apart.
We'll run up alongside now. Ahoy there! Throw us a line. Down the ladder over your side. Who places are you, anyway? United States government, and keep a civil tongue in your head. Well, why didn't you say so, mister? All right. Hurry up, come aboard. All right, Major. Up the ladder with you.
Thanks, Commander. Follow right behind me, Captain Friday. You too, Skip.
Yeah, right with you, Major.
All right, up we go.
Hey, this ain't no cannery boat, Captain.
Yeah. I was mistaken.
How much further?
The Major's up. Here I go over the rail. All right, over with you, Skip.
Yeah.
This man says he's the master of this ship, Captain Friday.
How do you do, sir?
Name's Hanson. If I'd had any idea it was a government boat chasing us, I'd have pulled around before.
What's your destination, Captain Hanson?
South Pacific, Indian Ocean?
Bay of Bengal?
Certainly. All the ports around the bay. There's nothing underhanded about that. My clearance papers
Don't
show
worry.
that...
I think you've got a passenger aboard.
Yes, we carry supercargo when there is any.
This man's an East Indian. Name of Abid.
Yes, I have such a passenger.
Mind taking us to him?
Certainly not. He has the number 2 cabin to the starboard.
Just a minute, Hanson.
Aye, Major.
Captain Friday and Skip Turner can get Ovid. I want a little talk with you.
I hope all this isn't going to take too long. If I miss the high tide, I'm not going to get across the bar tonight.
Well, that depends on you. Go ahead, Captain Friday.
Okay, Major. Come on, Skip.
Huh. What's that all about, Captain? Why the private conversation?
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised if Major Lawrence suspected Hanson's in this underground blackbirding deeper than he pretends.
You mean this ship's part of the smuggling deal?
Hanson could be in it all the way. Or he may be the unknowing instrument. After all, even Major Lawrence didn't suspect Judith Wright was in that casket.
Sure. Just a dead Chinese being returned to his ancestors.
Yeah. Uh-oh. This is the cabin.
Yeah, number 2, all right.
Who is it?
Message from Captain Hanson. Open up.
What is the message?
Don't be a fool. I'm not going to shout it through a locked door.
The ship is not moving. Why is that?
There's trouble in the engine room.
Engine room?
Yeah. We got to make repairs before we cross the bar out into the open ocean.
So that is the reason.
Yeah, now open the door. I got an urgent message from Captain Hanson.
Who are you?
Second mate, hurry up. I gotta get back on duty.
I have unlocked the door. Open it and come in.
You wait outside here, Skip. He's gonna pull a fast one.
Okay, you walk into something, I'm here to get you out.
Here I go.
Yes? Come in, Mr. Mate.
You got your lights off.
I always get seasick. I am lying in my berth. I think it helps me if I keep my cabin dark.
You got up to unlock the door?
I just barely made it. I'm very sick, so close the door and deliver your message.
I'd much prefer to have a little light on the subject.
If you please.
I don't please. I want light.
So, it is not the second mate at all. It is the Captain Friday.
Yeah, and that's a lot of hooey about you being seasick. Telling me you were in your berth and all the time you're standing there waiting to wallop me over the skull when I stepped into the cabin.
How did you get aboard this ship?
You'd better forget about trying to escape, Ovid. There's a government patrol boat alongside.
You must be insane. I have no wish or reason to try to get away.
Don't give me any of that. You got a white girl down in the hold of this ship in a coffin.
Maybe you'd like to prove that?
I don't have to. Major Lawrence saw the casket taken aboard this craft left port.
Perhaps the Major was mistaken.
What kind of mischief are you hinting at now?
Do you think for 1 minute, Captain Friday, that we did not anticipate just this? You don't suppose we're such fools as to be caught with a girl stowaway?
What are you saying?
But of course, naturally, if we did have a girl in a coffin on the ship, it would be so arranged that the whole business could be jettisoned into the bay.
Are you saying you threw Judith right into the bay?
If she was ever aboard, it would be the thing to do, wouldn't it? With plenty of way to send her and the casket to the bottom quickly.
Skip, come here quick.
Right behind you, Captain.
You hear what Ovid's been saying?
Yeah, you want I should wring his neck?
I've got both you men covered. The first one to make a move.
Get him, Skip!
You bet you!
Get that gun, Skip! I got Ovid. Get the gun!
Got it!
That takes care of friend Ovid.
Yeah, you got him right on the point of the jaw.
And that's not all he's gonna get if they threw Judith right overboard, nailed in that coffin.
What happened to Judith Wright? Why did she give herself into the hands of these unscrupulous men? In just a moment, we're going to follow Captain Friday and Skip down into the hold of the ship. But wait.
Okay, down the ladder into the hold of the ship.
Yeah.
You coming, Skip?
Yeah, I'm coming down.
Careful. It's a 20-foot fall if you lose your grip.
Yep, 20 feet down into darkness.
Hey, don't come so fast. You're stepping on my fingers.
Well, I'm just trying to keep with you. I thought the Major come down with us.
He's got a job wringing a confession out of the ship's captain. He and the commander will have the whole story by the time we clean up down here.
Oh, then they did arrest him, huh?
Whole ship's under arrest for smuggling and kidnapping and blackbirding. There. All right, I'm down. Watch it.
I'm down, too. But I might as well be in a coal bin for all I can see.
I got a couple of flashlights. Borrowed them off of Captain Hansen. Here.
Oh, thanks. Hey, they really give off a light.
The ship's got a pretty good cargo here. All right, look here. Cases of canned fish, bales of cured skins and furs.
This end down here seems to be loaded with cedar logs.
Looks like there was a little bit of everything down here.
Yeah, everything but Judith Wright's coffin.
Wait a minute. Listen.
Sounds like something's loose.
There is. Let's see if we can locate it.
Yeah, but if we're looking for Judith
It's all
Wright...
over this way somewhere.
Hey, here it is, over this way. Hey, Captain Friday, come here.
What is it, Skip? Hey, there's a hatch open.
No kidding, and right outside's the ocean.
Then Ovid meant what he said. They did dump the coffin and girl into the bay.
Oh, the dirty skunks. They drowned Judith like a rat just to hide evidence against themselves.
Didn't even take time to close the hatch again. They must have been rushed. Probably threw her overboard when they heard the launch whistle to heave to.
Oh, honest to Christmas, Cappy, I've never felt so rotten about anything. Poor kid in that casket with the lid screwed down.
Please,
Huh?
do not feel so bad.
Hey,
If I've given you any anguish...
Judith's right. What are you doing down here in the hold of this ship?
You're angry with me?
but you're supposed to be in that coffin at the bottom of the harbor.
Yes. It's not my fault I'm not. I have a friend.
On this ship?
Yes, down here in the hole. He's a stowaway.
Where is he?
Oh, Houlihan! Please, it's all right to come out.
Oh, Houlihan, huh?
They don't mind if you're a stowaway. Ah, there you are.
Yeah, but sure now you shouldn't have given me away.
You have nothing to fear from Captain Friday and Skip Turner. This is O'Houlihan, Captain Friday.
Hello, Houlihan.
And the same to you, mister.
Now then, what's been going on here?
Well, as the little lady here says, I'm a stowaway.
You sure picked yourself a sweet ship to hide out on.
Well, you can't be pickish. Ain't many ships come up this way anymore. Take what you can get.
Okay. So you stowed aboard this craft. What then?
Well, I overheard Captain Hansen and that East India feller, Abed. I heard them talking.
Yeah?
Yeah, they was down here. They put their coffin right up next to that hatch there. And Abed told the captain that if there was any sign of trouble, the hatch was to be opened and the coffin dumped overboard.
Yeah?
And then they went away.
Go on.
Well, being a curious cuss, I kept wondering what was in the coffin that they didn't want the police to know about.
And so you unscrewed the lid.
Yeah, I reckon I did. And you can imagine my surprise when out pops the little lady here. She was kind of mad at me at first, though.
Well, I thought he was spoiling the whole thing.
You hadn't heard the conversation about dumping you?
No, I'd heard nothing. But when O'Houlihan told me what they might do to me, I got out of the coffin quick, but yes.
Well, I think O'Houlihan ought to get a decoration.
Oh, yes, so do I. Because we'd hardly filled the coffin up with 2 sacks of flour and screwed the lid down again when we heard a boat whistle. We heard someone coming down into the hole. We rushed over here and opened the hatch and threw the casket into the water. It's a miracle I'm alive.
You're telling us. And all because you were such an obstinate young woman. All because you insisted on putting yourself in the hands of these unscrupulous men.
Yes, I know that now. But I was so anxious to get into the United States. It was so necessary that I reach my friends who are in the United States.
Sister, did you think you was headed for the USA?
Yes, for Seattle.
Well, then wouldn't you have been surprised when you woke up and found yourself in one of the Bay of Bengal ports being sold as a slave girl to some second-rate Malaya potentate?
You're fooling me.
Well, ask Captain Friday.
Captain Friday. They would not have done such a thing. I can't
Skip's
believe
telling
that
you exactly where you were headed for.
But I paid that Mr. English and Mr. Abbott $1,000 to get me into the United States.
Then you got exactly what was coming to you. Don't you know there's only one safe way to get into the United States, and that's on a passport?
That's the awful thing. I have no country anymore. I have no passport. There's no way for me to enter legally, even for a short time. All the friends I have are into America.
She's a refugee from Norway, she was telling me.
Yes, my parents were killed. I escaped the enemy through Sweden, Finland, and then Russia. I've been almost 2 years crossing Russia. And then for a price, a Russian pilot flew me over to Alaska.
Where in Alaska?
It was Fairbanks.
That's where you made your first contact with the Blackbirders?
Blackbirders?
Yeah, that's what they call men who smuggle human cargo.
Oh, yes, it was in Fairbanks.
Major Lawrence will be interested in that.
Major Lawrence? But you told me he was killed.
I thought he was. He's alive enough, though. Up on deck now, questioning the captain and Abed. The whole ship's under arrest by order of the United States government.
Oh, it is now. Well, what does that make me?
That puts you in a mess, O'Houlihan.
Well, I've been in a mess most of my life, so one more ain't gonna kill me, I guess.
I don't think you're in half the trouble you'd have been in if you'd been caught by Captain Hansen. He'd have thrown you to the sharks, and that would have been the end of O'Houlihan.
But to get back to you, Judith, that was a dirty trick you pulled at the livery stable, letting the captain here and me get clipped over the head while you beat it for the cabin in the woods.
I was so anxious to get to America. I knew I was with good men when I was with you, but I tried so hard and so long to get to America. I just couldn't give up when I was so near.
How did you know to go to Abed's cabin?
I was told on Marmaduke Island. I was told that If anything went wrong, I was to contact Mr. Orbit at that cabin in the woods.
Uh-huh. Well, for everybody concerned, it's a good thing that old Scotch livery stable owner didn't knock out Skip and me the way he was supposed to.
Oh, yes. That time when I knew you'd followed me to the cabin, I was very angry with you, for which I apologize now. At this moment, I'm most happy to have you here.
Well, you ought to be, sister. You ought to get right down on your knees to Captain Friday.
Cut it out, Skip.
What is to become of me now? I've no place to go. I have no home, no people.
Yeah, that's bad.
For months and months, I've been putting all my hope on finding refuge in your beloved United States. Sometimes it's kept me from freezing to death, sometimes from starving. Just remembering that sometime I would be safe in America. And now look at me. Now there's no hope.
Yeah, sure now it's a dad-burned blazing outrage. That's what it is.
We're going up on deck.
I'm under arrest.
That depends on Major Lawrence. You too, O'Houlihan.
That it suits me. Air down here in the hold of this ship's beginning to get on my nerves anyhow.
Come on over to the ladder. Okay. I'll go up first. Miss Wright, you follow me.
Yes. Is it far?
About a 20-foot climb. Just hang on tight. You'll be all right.
I'm glad it's dark.
O'Houlihan, you follow up the ladder right after Miss Wright.
I will, Dad.
Skip, you bring up the rear. Okay, here I go. All right. Come on, Miss Wright.
Oh, yes. If only the boat didn't sway and bounce so.
You next, O'Houlihan.
Yep. I'm right on the little lady's heels.
Yeah, and I'm right after you. Okay, we're all on the ladder, Captain.
Okay, Skip. It's almost over, Miss Wright. You all right?
Yes. It's not too bad.
I'm going up through the hatch now. Wait till I get on deck and I'll give you a hand. There. All right, now give me a hand. Reach up.
Oh, it's so dark.
That's it. Now, up with you.
Oh, don't let go of me.
There you are. Safe on deck.
And here I come now. Oh, man. Don't that fresh air smell good? Phew.
There, everybody's out.
Hello? Who's there?
That you, Commander?
Oh, it's you, Captain Friday. What do you got with you?
Here now, turn that blame flashlight out of my eyes.
Well, if it isn't O'Houlihan. What are you doing on this craft, Irish?
Oh, now, is that you, Commander?
You don't know who it is, all right.
He was a stowaway. I think we owe him a vote of gratitude.
Yeah?
Yeah. Turn your flash over on the girl.
Girl? Why, this is the girl who's supposed to be at the bottom of a bay in a casket.
Yes. It's because of O'Houlihan here that I'm alive.
O'Houlihan overheard the plot to dump her if the authorities showed up. He opened the casket, filled it with sacks of flour.
O'Houlihan, you're all right.
Commander, do you feel sick?
I've been patrolling these coasts for 10 years, and O'Houlihan and I have had a lot of trouble in that time. He's a thief and a poacher and a no-good bum. But saving this girl's life makes up for the lot of it.
I'm that important?
You bet. Miss Wright, you can give the United States government a line in this whole underground blackbirding setup. You can point out the various depots where they hid you out.
Yes, I can do that.
You do, and I don't think there's anything Major Lawrence won't do for you.
Anything?
Yeah, he spent 2 years and lost a lot of good men trying to round up these smugglers. You help him break up the ring, and he'll go all the way with you.
Oh, would he? Do you suppose
What Miss Wright's trying to say, Commander, her country's in the hands of the enemy. Her relatives have been killed. She spent 2 years trying to get into the United States.
Oh, yes. Do you suppose Major Lawrence will let me in? Will he help me to do what's necessary?
I bet he will.
Where's the major now?
In the captain's cabin, still trying to break down the captain of the ship and that East Indian.
I won't talk?
Yeah, we've got enough to hang a lot of them now, but we need definite evidence for the courts.
I should think if we sprung Miss Wright on him.
Hey, sure. They think she's at the bottom of the bay.
Come along. This is the door. I'll open it and you step in, Miss Wright.
But yes.
But I tell you, Major Lawrence, I do not know of any such girl as Judith Wright. if she is on board this craft.
And I am on board this craft, Mr. Abbott.
Miss Wright, where did you come from?
You ugly, wicked, unprincipled person. You took $1,000 from me, and then you kidnapped me. And then you tried to drown me.
Oh, this is too bad. This is the end.
Major Lawrence, I can tell you every underground depot where these men kept me, from Alaska to Port Lancer. I will gladly help you.
But if you do that, Miss Wright, I think you've won the friendship of the United States government.
Oh, those are good words. That's what I've wanted you to say. More than anything, I wish to be friends with the great government of the United States.
And so Judith Wright ended her misguided flight from Norway to Port Lancer, finally made her peace with this government, and was given shelter from the desperation and violence of her homeland. And now she is a citizen. A Coffin for the Lady is a Carlton E. Morse production, and another in the series of Adventures by Morse.
Adventures by Morse. Carlton E. Morse presents The Cobra King Strikes Back, featuring Captain Friday.
If you like high adventure, come with me. If you like the stealth of intrigue, come with me. If you like blood and thunder, come with me.
Tonight, we are plunging toward the land of the Cobra King, toward Cambodia, which is in the jungle country of French Indochina. Cambodia, the land of the mysterious ancient folk, the land now under the sway of the cobra and the wild elephant and the tiger, the land of Oriental myth and Oriental wonder, a land to the east. To reach it from San Francisco, one travels to Hawaii, to Hong Kong, to Saigon, which is the capital of Indochina, and then through the jungles northward. This is where the Carter expedition is headed. And right now is a good time for you to meet Dr. Carter, archaeologist, scientist, explorer. Dr. Carter.
At the moment, my party and I are aboard the steamship Westphalia between Hawaii and Hong Kong. The object of this expedition into the wilds of Cambodia will be explained shortly. But right now, I want you to know the other members of my party. First, you must meet my daughter, Celia. She's especially trained by me to be historian of this expedition. Celia, please.
Daughter, secretary, historian. That's quite an order for one girl to fulfill on one expedition.
Oh, it's all right to be flippant, my dear, but just remember, there's bitter intrigue and danger connected with this expedition.
I love danger. I eat it up.
Well, that's my daughter, Celia. The second member of my party, you must know, is Professor Ernst Lebrun, medical advisor and scientific technician. Professor Lebrun, my friend.
Oui, Dr. Carter.
I was just remarking that I feel I've added greatly to our expedition's chances of success by persuading you to become a member of my party.
If I did not have confidence in your abilities to lead such an expedition to a successful conclusion, I doubt if you would have persuaded me.
A mutual admiration society, huh?
Mademoiselle Sellier, your father is a wonderful man, and I don't doubt he'll bring this whole business off with flying colors.
Well, you've more confidence than I have, then. And now, where's Perry Mills?
Here, Doctor.
Oh, so you are. Now, Perry, besides being an admirable young man, is business manager and assistant collector for the trip. I hope and pray, young man, you didn't leave any of our paraphernalia on the dock back at San Francisco.
I certainly hope and pray so myself. I've checked and double-checked.
And triple-checked. Honestly, Father, Perry's done nothing since we left San Francisco but rummage around among our effects down in the hold of the ship.
Well, I gotta face your father when we unload at Saigon, and I want to face him with everything in order and ready to start for our expedition into the back country.
And now the last member of our party, Taquan.
Well, you let him go to his stateroom, Father.
Oh, that's right, I did.
What's the matter, seasick?
Mm-hmm. Squeamish.
Queer fish.
Oh, a brilliant scholar. Egg-ridden by the superstitions of his people, but brilliant.
Well, all Chinese are superstitious, aren't they?
My dear, Taquan is not Chinese.
Well, Oriental.
Yes, Oriental. Taquan, Celia, is a pure descendant of the ancient Khmers, a dead race. And it's from this vanished people that the last member of our party's descended. You will hear more of Taquan.
But unknown to Dr. Carter and his group, there is a second party aboard the Westphalia, steaming westward under the great golden moon. The mission of this latter group is a carefully guarded secret, a dangerous secret. Heading it is Captain Bart Friday. Accompanying him is his fellow operative, Skip Turner, and his secretary, Patricia Young. And then there's a fourth member of the party, a figure of mystery, a prisoner. 2 expeditions, and at the moment, each unaware of the other's presence on the ship. Each unaware that it has friends in the other party. And now darkness has settled on the vessel, throbbing under its pounding propellers. The moon is riding high, is gigantic, is golden. And on the main deck, Perry Mills and Celia Carter are leaning against the rail.
Oh, a lovely, lovely moon on the water.
First trip at sea, Celia?
Oh, yes. Imagine me going way off to such a wilderness as Cambodia. Clear around the world from San Francisco.
Ah, lucky girl, all right. You know, I feel rather lucky myself to be Dr. Carter's assistant archaeologist.
Dad's a dear.
Well, thank you, my dear.
Hey, where did you pop from, Father?
Evening, Dr. Carter.
Evening, Perry. Celia, Professor LeBrun will join us in a moment. Then we'll go into the main salon for a short conference. Bring your shorthand book.
Yes, Dad.
Hey, where's Taquan?
Still in his stateroom. He's having a bad time with his seasickness. Wished to retire.
You say he's Oriental, but not Chinese.
That's right. Taquan is a pure descendant of the ancient Khmers, that race that built such marvels as the Angkor Wat.
Angkor Wat, which means Temple of Angkor.
That's a good literal translation, Perry. You see, some 2,000 years ago, this race of Khmers arose to mighty strength.
A civilization sufficient unto itself.
Quite right, Perry. The kingdom grew until it must have held some 30 million souls. They built great wats, or temples. They had trained armies and a remarkable background, both historical and mythological. In fact, they had everything that should have made them a lasting nation.
And yet 30 million people vanished from the face of the earth.
That's exactly the word, vanished. When Angkor Wat was first discovered some 80 years ago by the Frenchman Muot, it looked as though the entire population had one day laid down their implements, walked out, never returned.
But what did happen to them?
If we knew, my dear, we'd not be on this expedition.
And we're going to Angkor Wat to see what we can find.
We is good.
Well, I'm part of the expedition, for goodness sakes.
Of course you are, my dear. Yes, we're going into the old Khmer realm. But we're not going to stop at Angkor Wat. That particular region has been milked dry of information. Further to the north, however, are other abandoned cities, some of which have been recently discovered, others of which are only known to exist by rumors and legend.
And we're going to hunt for one of those legendary cities?
Well, something like that. Only it isn't going to be quite such a hopeless proposition. That's where Taquan comes into the picture.
I wondered about him.
Professor LeBrun picked him up over at the University of California. His brilliant mind so attracted LeBrun that he struck up an acquaintance and discovered that Taquan was a descendant of the Khmers and had only recently come from Saigon, the French capital in the east.
Hey, he's an interesting chap, all right.
Yes, it seems that he'd come in from the agricultural region in nothing more than a breechclout, and he demanded to be taught. He was turned over to a French parochial mission. Fathers dressed him and taught him. His brilliance delighted them so they laid aside an allowance to send him to the University of California.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I remember the day LeBrun brought him to see you, Dr. Carter.
Yes, the professor knew I was interested in the Cambodia problem, and so he brought Taquan to see me. Developed that he knew the region north of Angkor Wat unusually well. In fact, knew of a city back in the wilderness that has not yet been discovered by explorers.
Well, a little lecture in Cambodian archaeology.
Oh, there you are, LeBrun.
Oh, as you say, here I am. There we all are. All except our little Khmer. Where is he?
He's not receiving visitors. Having a little private trouble with old Devil C.
Sorry I was delayed, the doctor, but coming up the companionway, the most amazing thing happened to us.
Nothing unpleasant, I hope.
Quite the opposite. Would you think I bumped squarely into?
You met someone you know.
I say, what depth of discernment.
You're making fun of me.
Oh, really, I am not. I did meet an old friend, a very brilliant fellow. None other than Captain Friday.
Say, you don't mean the Captain Friday in charge of the Worth murders and the City of the Dead mystery?
Remember him, do you, Perry? The very same Captain Friday.
And you just ran into him tonight? Oh, isn't that rather peculiar, Lebrun?
Not at all, Doctor. You see, he and his party boarded the ship at Honolulu last night.
Well, what on earth is he doing on his way to Hong Kong?
Oh, most mysterious. I had to tear myself away to join you folks. Or perhaps I would have found out. He's waiting down in the salon for us to join him.
Oh, that's a pleasant surprise. We'll just postpone our conference until tomorrow. Celia, we won't need you tonight after all.
All right. And I'll stay right out here on deck and soak up some more moonlight.
Don't you want to come along and join us?
Me go down there and sit around in a cloud of cigar smoke while half a dozen men hold the floor? I should say not.
Wise girl.
Hey, don't lean too far over the rail. We don't want to lose our historian this early.
Good night, everyone.
And we'll take this companionway.
Captain Friday said the main salon. Ah, oui. Here we are. Oh, go ahead, Dr. Carter.
Oh, so you brought them down. Well, this is a great meeting.
Skip Turner, you here too.
Howdy, Professor LeBrun. Sure, I'm here. Playing guard of honor for Captain Friday and his secretary, Patricia.
But I say, Captain, who's running your agency back in San Francisco, eh?
Oh, I rather think it'll get along somehow for a while without skipping me.
Dr. Carter, this is Captain Bart Friday.
My pleasure, Captain.
And this is Mr. Skip Turner, Captain Friday's right-hand man.
Glad to know you.
Captain Friday, this is Perry Mills, Dr. Carter's assistant.
How do you do, Mills?
And Skip Turner.
Say, this is great.
Well, sit down, gentlemen. Draw up some chairs. Here's cigars. There now.
Captain, if it isn't a state secret, what on earth are you and Skip doing here so far off your beats?
Well, Professor, as a matter of fact, it comes very nearly being just that. State secrets.
Well, you don't say.
I wouldn't care to have our business made general knowledge on shipboard.
Oh, by no means. I retract my question.
Oh, no. That isn't at all necessary. I intended to tell you. It's a very unusual story. And rather fits in with your own work.
Something to do with the Anchor region?
Quite a bit. I've got a prisoner aboard this ship.
Prisoner? Murderer?
Bloodthirsty young peacock.
There's not so wrong at that. The last man who tried to keep him in chains got himself strangled.
Strangled?
With a wet silk cord.
An Indian thuggy trick.
Isn't pleasant. I'd rather have them use a sharp knife myself.
On board the Trans-Pacific liner Westphalia, two groups of people have met. One headed by Dr. Carter, archaeologist. The other headed by Captain Friday, private operator. Captain Friday is telling about a prisoner he is taking to Saigon, French Indochina, the same port from which Dr. Carter is launching his expedition. Captain Friday has just said,
I've got a prisoner aboard this ship. His last keeper was strangled. He's an international plotter, a troublemaker.
Well, looks like you're getting into big business, Captain Friday.
After a manner, perhaps. He's a subject of Cochin China. I'm taking him to Saigon, the French capital.
Remarkable. You're going right into our territory.
Yes. But there's a closer relationship between your scientific expedition and my little party than that, Dr. Carter. Of course, you know the story of how France got hold of the Cambodia territory.
Yes, Muo, the Frenchman, when he discovered the ruins, carried the word back to France. And by being on their toes, French diplomats took the territory over before the rest of the world learned of the Khmer ruins.
Fast workers, huh?
Oh, any nation would have jumped at the chance to get French Indochina, had they known about it.
Yes, it was a rich land, lying fallow for someone to take it.
After all, Mr. Turner, Siam was in no position to investigate the Cambodia ruins, even had she known of them. France immediately opened this new and rich scientific field.
All right. I'm squelched. I take it back.
Well, if Skip doesn't want to argue the point, Captain Friday, suppose you continue.
Well, as you just explained, France got Cambodia by means of a diplomatic coup. It didn't set well with a lot of people in that region, especially those with the Siamese leaning. Many felt that Siam had lost a vast treasure.
But France has gotten little return for the amount of money expended in that territory. To date, anyway.
That's true, Mills. And yet there's much dissatisfaction.
Well, that's easily explained. There are innumerable legends of tremendous Khmer treasure which are supposed to be buried beneath the ruins of those old cities.
Treasure, huh? You mean casts of gold and jewels?
Oh, no, much more fascinating loot than that. For instance, there's supposed to be a huge emerald Buddha seated on a golden coiled cobra, numerous golden Buddhas, altar furnishings, priests and king's regalia, golden lions, golden howdahs, and chairs.
My word, Perry, that is a lot of
Well,
gold.
I'm only reciting from the legends. According to the myths, the Thais Vandals came down from the north in great hordes and overran Cambodia. To save their treasures of the palaces and temples, priests buried them beneath the cities with the aid of slaves. Afterwards, the slaves were slaughtered.
Jolly sort of folk, these Khmers.
Well, these rumors are probably at the bottom of the dissatisfaction. Anyway, a certain Cambodian element feel that they've been robbed. Up until the time the French missionaries entered the field and began to educate them, the resentment was unorganized and latent. They were ignorant, had no idea how to go about revenging themselves.
Yeah, the old story.
Yes, Dr. Carter. But French fathers continued to educate the people. The French government even assisted their efforts with appropriations. They selected brilliant Cambodian youths and gave them what corresponds to a high school education right in Saigon. And then they selected the brightest of their pupils and sent them to American and European universities.
Hey, we have just such a student in our party.
What's that, Mills?
Sure, a chap named Taquan.
Well, we have another locked in Skip's cabin.
Extraordinary, Captain Friday. You mean a Cambodian college graduate has become an international criminal?
Hardly that, Doctor. He's a representative of the rebellious element in Cambodia. He's been in the United States trying to raise a secret expedition to penetrate the jungles north of the city of Angkor, claiming that he knows the location of another of the lost Khmer cities.
Say, you don't suppose
Oh,
that...
I say, Perry, let's not speculate, huh? Speculation's bad business.
Sure, well, of course. Excuse me for breaking in, Captain Friday.
It looks as though I'm telling you a story you already know.
You mind telling us who this chap is you have in handcuffs?
Not at all. A fellow called Fen Lo.
Never heard of him. Have you, Dr. Carter?
I don't recall the name. Please go on, Captain.
Well, it appears that Fen Lo has been telling that he knows the location of this new city's buried treasures.
Rather odd. He didn't dig it up for himself and his friends, then, isn't it?
According to his story, it'll take many men and some very modern evacuation machinery to get at it.
That corresponds with the legends. The priests are supposed to have filled the passages leading down to the treasures with rock and a sort of cement.
But they wouldn't have to tunnel in the original passage. Couldn't they dig in the earth paralleling the rocked-in part?
No, Perry. It's too big a job for the natives. Even so, the treasure room would undoubtedly be cased in by a wall many feet in thickness.
Yeah, but look here. If there's all this treasure under these cities, why don't the French government dig for it?
That's just the point, Skip. The French are not convinced that there is any treasure. It's all rumor and native legend. They're not willing to spend the great sums necessary to excavate on the mere chance of finding something.
And another thing, France hasn't had the money to put into such work, not under present conditions. In the meantime, she doesn't want other people nosing around too closely. By the way, Dr. Carter, how did you ever get permission to take an expedition into the country?
By agreeing to turn over 90% of anything we should run across to the French government.
Don't seem like that'd be very profitable.
This is a scientific expedition, not a treasure hunt. Frankly, Captain Friday, I'm quite dubious about there being any treasure.
I see. Well, anyway, the French government heard about Fen Lo's activities in the United States and demanded his apprehension. We caught him in San Francisco and turned him over to the French consulate. A French attaché was started on the trip with him to Saigon. En route to Honolulu, the Frenchman was murdered.
You don't say.
By Fen Lo?
No. No, Fen Lo was manacled to his berth. The attaché was killed on the aft deck, strangled with a cord.
Aha, the worthy Fen Lo had friends aboard.
If he did, they were never apprehended. Fen Lo was taken from the ship at Honolulu, and the French consulate, unwilling to subject another of its attachés to a like fate, Called for a couple of volunteers to escort the fellow the rest of the way to Saigon.
And you and Skip Turner responded.
Well, I'll say we did. A 2.5 months vacation, and all expenses paid.
Every peace officer in San Francisco volunteered. Well, finally, they put me in charge, and I selected Skip to come along. We picked up Fenlo in Honolulu and boarded their ship. And that's the story.
But Mr. Turner mentioned your secretary, Captain.
Oh, yes. I promised her she could come along on the next case. I didn't know, though, it would take us halfway around the world.
But weren't you afraid to have her come after what happened to the French attaché?
You don't know our secretary, Mr. Mills.
Skip's right. Patricia's perfectly capable of taking care of herself. However, she's in no danger. It's quite apparent that the whole object of the attaché's death was the release of Fenlo. If there are any attacks on my party, it certainly won't be against my secretary.
A remarkable story, Captain Friday. A remarkable story.
Doubly so, since our paths have crossed.
Captain, I think I'll take a look in the cabin. I want to give the only Cambodian in captivity the once-over.
All right, Skip. Skip's as nervous as a cat. He believes there's something mysterious about our Oriental.
All Orientals or just Fenlo?
Well, Skip Turner's philosophy says that an Oriental at your back is a dangerous Oriental.
Oh, the death of the French attaché probably has a good deal to do with his uneasiness.
Very likely, Professor. Fenlo has been in a sort of cold rage since we picked him up in Honolulu. Prophesies innumerable deaths to pay for the outrage to his person. However, everything's gone smoothly so far.
Listen.
What's the matter, Mills?
Thought I heard someone call out.
I don't hear anything.
All sorts of queer creaks and groans on a steamship. I remember...
Listen. Someone's running.
Captain Friday, the prisoner's gone.
Fenlo's escaped?
Here, look at the handcuffs.
Incredible.
Fantastic. My word. Did he do that? Scrape the flesh off his hands, forcing them through the manacles?
He did, and he had someone to help him.
There's no doubt about that. He couldn't have done this to himself alone.
Pieces of flesh still clinging to the manacles.
You're certain about that, Captain Friday? I've seen some strange and terrible things take place in the East.
Dr. Carter, I don't believe there's a man in existence that could have gotten out of those handcuffs alone. His hands were cuffed behind him and fastened to his bunk. And I saw to it that the cuffs were tight to his wrists.
Sure, he couldn't have got away without help. But hadn't we better get on his trail?
I don't think there's any hurry, Skip. He can't escape from the ship, and we're still a good number of days from Saigon.
But if the French attaché was murdered...
The first thing to do is to inform the master of the ship. He'll warn everybody aboard to remain in his cabin, then form a searching party. I'll attend to that myself. Please excuse me.
Yes, of course.
Now, look here, Dr. Carter. Supposing I go give Celia an earful of this and send her to her cabin if she's still on deck.
Good idea, Perry. Tell her to keep to her stateroom and keep door and portholes locked.
I certainly will.
Oh, that lad does crave excitement. Up to now, the party's been just fish and beans to Perry. But now, things are looking up a bit.
A mighty fine youngster.
Oh, but aren't we
Look
all...
here, man. I just happened to think of Captain Friday's secretary. Patricia ought to be warned.
Oh, by all means. Don't hang back on our account. We'll survive somehow.
Yeah, I don't know whether you will or not if you get in the road of that there Fenlo guy.
Oh, I say, Dr. Carter.
Yes, LeBrun?
Now that we're alone, what odds will you give that our own little Khmer playmate, Taquan, hasn't got a finger in Fenlo's pie?
Be careful, LeBrun.
Uh-huh. Right the first guess.
I'm afraid so. The chances are that Taquan and Fenlo are close friends. Both of them have been sent to American universities by French missionaries.
Oh, undoubtedly.
And take care, Professor. Don't put the idea into Captain Friday's head. If Taquan becomes mixed up with the authorities, we may never get him farther than Saigon. Our expedition is hopeless without him to guide us.
Are you certain Captain Friday doesn't already suspect?
I've been afraid of it.
In fact, I have an hunch that he went to Taquan's stateroom on his way to organize the searching party.
Do you think so?
I do.
Perhaps we'd best go see for ourselves. Come along with me.
If he is guilty, I hope he had sense enough to get back in his cabin after his escapade.
And I hope our suspicions are wrong.
And still the ship plows on.
Taquan's cabin's this way.
Righto. Well, anyway, the moon is still grinning down at us.
Doctor, quick, we've got to do something.
Oh, I say,
You
Perry.
don't understand. Celia's gone.
My daughter's gone?
Yes, she's gone. I can't find her anywhere.
Come, old chap, you look ghastly.
I feel ghastly.
Oh, look here. Why should you?
Why should I? Why should I? Didn't you hear me say that Celia's disappeared? That maniac come here loose and roaming the deck? Suppose he's found her.
But, why do you want to suppose that?
But the fellow's loose and Celia's gone.
Come on, both of you. We'll get the captain.
Just a moment, Dr. Carter. Now, look here, Perry. Are you going off half-cocked, or do you know what you're talking about?
Oh, I tell you, it's true. Every word of it's true.
Where have you looked?
Everywhere. I've been on both decks. I've been in all the salons. I even went into her cabin.
Was it unlocked?
Yes, What's that?
Quiet, Perry. It's coming from the lower deck. Do you recognize that?
No, Doctor. What is it?
It's an ancient Khmer death chant.
Death chant? There. What did I tell you?
Gotta move on. It's Celia.
You have just heard the opening episode of The Cobra King Strikes Back, the newest adventure thriller by Carlton E. Morse. Adventures by Morse bring you new excitement week after week. Next week brings you the second episode, laid in Saigon, that weird and wonderful seaport of Cochin China, known as the French capital of the East. The deadly shadow of the ancient Cobra King already has fallen upon both the party headed by Dr. Carter and that led by Captain Friday. But not until the two groups land on the shores of French Indochina does the deadly force of evil descend in all its venom. Watch for next week's episode entitled Something About the Hooded Snake.